Hey, how's it going, everybody? Justice Severin here from the original chapters. Today we are breaking down how to unpack your goods. Okay, we're breaking down really sales conversations, sales conversions, and how to really craft that amazing offer to blow out your prospects. All right, make sure to go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. And this is a live that we shot actually straight inside of my original chapters Facebook group. So let's go ahead and get right to it. All right, we're talking pretty much lead gen. We're talking also unpacking your goods, unpacking your offer. That's what I really want to focus on today. That's the kind of two topics that I know Troy was more so looking for, kind of lead gen and sales here. So I said lead gen to sales. So lead gen to sale, basically sales conversions. That's also what Ruben's looking for on the conversion side there. How do we get traffic? And now, like, how are we gonna best actually convert them? And now we're also talking unpacking your goods here. That's realistically how you're gonna deliver that offer. You're just gonna throw a link in their face. Let's also we're gonna dive into all this today. We'll see how far I go compared to usual. I tend to just keep going because I want to give you guys as much as I can. But we're gonna see what we got here. I saw a comment. Someone's here live. Appreciate it. I'm gonna have to check on my phone one of these times. I can never see who's commenting. But at the end of the day, thank you for being here. I'll see the name later. Don't you worry. All right. So hey, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in here. I pretty much got this broken down into 4 pieces here. So let's take a step into number 1 here. I really want to talk about number 1, how to carry a sales conversation. Okay. But once again, I'm gonna just kind of kick it back to the basics for a sec here. Because really, everything that we talk about in general, it's all straightforward. It's not rocket science. It's, once again, if you saw in the kind of title I had here and in the sub headline, whatever you want to call it, it's all in the details, the small details, and all of them add up. I can promise you that. I didn't get to my first 5-figure month by just winging it. It's knowing all the little things that you have to do and consistently doing it, persistent with it. It all pays off there. So let's talk about how to carry a sales conversation, just things to realize. So first off, you want to realize is you're dealing with cold leads in a lot of situations, right? You're basically starting from ground zero, and what you really need to do is think about how to stand out from the crowd. Let's just talk about, once again, Facebook organic here, where you're talking about messenger conversations. How are you coming off when you're actually jumping out there? When you're sending out your outgoing, your intro message, your hello, you're putting your name, your face out there to them. They're seeing your profile there. You're putting that first message out. How are you looking here? Are you coming off as desperate? Are you coming out what do they say? First impressions mean everything. Whether that's true or not, it definitely plays a huge role here. There's organic marketing is becoming bigger and bigger these days. So what you really need to do is know how to step out and stand out. So, adding something personal there, adding the generic, people are using automated messages all the times now. So you got to do something, once again, that's going to stand out from the crowd and get you in the door. At the end of the day, we're trying to hit that trust factor. You've sure you heard it before, no, like, and trust, but that trust is what gets you in. People, for me, for people like myself, I have a brand that much more built up. So when I get in these conversations, I can go ahead and be a little more free with it because I can just have people trust me that much more based off of the brand. But if you're really just starting out and really kind of newer without the results to leverage as much, you got to really differentiate yourself and get in there. Because a lot of people are using, if I just give you my script that I use in conversations, that's not going to be enough. You need to be able to actually convert it and go based off person to person. Every person is different. When you hear the word traffic a lot, people just kind of see it as an but traffic is a person at the end of the day. They're people, and they're cold leads all the time. They're trying to convert. And, so realistically, when you're going through there, I say it all the time, really, where there's certain things that I personally like to do when I'm in my conversations, and a lot of people in general. But, really, you want to really scope out their situation. You want to see what they're doing on that sense. And from there, dive in, see what they're struggling with, really see if that you're someone that can actually help them. That's why I say what I kind of was joking in the beginning. Are you just throwing links out there when it comes to unpacking your product? Is that you giving them your offer? Because if that's the case, I'll tell you what, that's never going to work. So you're going to continue to never have sales. So if you want to step back now, scope in, dive in, see if you're actually build up something. People don't want to build relationships these days. I had a whole hour interview on that the other day on just building relationships and what it takes. It's like It doesn't take forever either. That's the thing. You don't have to have an hour-long conversation with someone to build a relationship. You know, you don't have to close someone on the first day to get a sale. You know, these things can last for days sometimes. It can last for a couple weeks, months. I can't tell you how many people I've had buy from me where we've talked last year, and here they, you know, and now we're talking getting a sale. You know, and even last year when it was 4 months prior, you're making a sale happen. So once again, it's all these little things, staying consistent. Consistent is one of my biggest things I preach there, because at the end of the day, also, if you're just having a few conversations here and there, you're not going to be able to carry a conversation successfully. You're not going to really know how to go about it, because you're going to be so out of it. You're going to be kind of nervous, maybe not even nervous, but you're going to feel like you're not doing this consistently enough. And now it's almost like you're afraid to go see your inbox. And that's the last thing you want right there. You know, for me, the only time my inbox gets overwhelming is when I'm sleeping, because I wake up and I get a bunch of unread messages there. That's the only time I need to catch up like that. Other than that, and of course, if you're working, you know, you got 9 to 5. I was doing accounting. I 100% understand that too. So that's the only time that you need to feel like you need to catch up. Other than that, I like to get in a conversation immediately with someone. You know, if you can, get them while you have their attention. That's another reason why I love the phone so much, because you have someone's attention and you don't, you know, they're not on Messenger drifting away. You know, so really think about this when you're on these conversations here. You want to build that trust, and really that comes with showing that you're someone who isn't like everybody else, because they've already talked to everybody else and they don't trust everybody else. So you need to get yourself in the door like that. And that's truly what's going to help so much. And I think I already kind of touched on what I'm about to go into next, because really the next step here is staying on script and rapport. All right. So really with these, one of the main things I stress and all the time when I'm teaching is, you know, when you're doing this, you're not having interviews with people when you're on a conversation. Like I said, you want to kind of maybe scope out their situation, see if they're actually someone you can help, but we're not talking really crank down and interview them. You know, really, this isn't a Q&A. We're having a conversation here. And then once again, the more you do this, the more comfortable you get with it. You're going to be able to really make this happen to where it feels like a conversation. And at the same time, you're actually diving in, finding pain points, finding out where they need help, and then inserting your return of value. Like I'm telling you, it's just so powerful there when you get out of it. And in the beginning too, that's why the more you do it, consistency, it's going to get better and better. Because also, man, when you're first starting off, maybe you don't have a sale, maybe XYZ, you come off as really hungry and really thirsty. Maybe it's tough for you to detach. And you really have to detach there, as if you know that they're not going to buy from you. Because that mentality helped me a lot. Because I knew when I was thinking like that, I was looking on to the next person. You know, this person seems like maybe I start off as a cold lead with them, but as the conversation goes and as the days goes on, I'm not to say I'm not thinking about them, because we want to follow up and, you know, we should have these things in place, but in general, we're not banking on them. They're not going to be the person who's going to be supporting our rent money type of thing. There's other options, other fish in the sea there. We need to approach them. We need to make them happen. Because at the end of the day, the more these leads you start getting, the more consistent you are with this. Those cold leads, a group of them are going to turn into warmer leads. And then from there, it's going to get better and better. And you know, one thing I didn't speak about too, just to jump back one little bit there. Like I say, if you're here live, drop that hashtag live. I saw someone else already is in the replay. Drop that hashtag replay. Hit that love button if you're liking this, man. I'm telling you, I got more gems for you coming. This is just beginning. I know I was trying to finish by 5, but we'll see, man. I can't stop sometimes. But anyways, I want to jump back for a quick sec, because when I was talking before about kind of how to carry a conversation and how you're really talking to a lot of cold leads. So now with that, when you have warm leads now, that is also when it gets extremely powerful. So I think a lot of the times when people tell me that maybe they have a lead generation problem, I think that a lot of the times they're not realizing that maybe they're only going about it one way. Maybe you're only getting your leads from one source. And I don't mean from like one platform, because in each platform, there's so many different ways to operate. You know, when I say that you're just getting it from one source, I don't mean like, oh, you're just using Facebook, that means you need to go use YouTube because you need a second source there. That's 100% not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is you have an additional source of ways to get in touch with people and start conversations. If your only way of starting a conversation is from reaching, you let's just say you're adding a friend, you reach out and you send a message, and that's the only way you're making it happen, I can tell you right now, for me personally, I've had a ton of success doing that. So I'm not knocking that strategy at all. But in general, I've learned, man, that there's multiple ways if you add on top of that. Things like content, things like even just using Facebook stories, just different ways to get people to come back and have a conversation start. How many conversations are you starting a day? Ask yourself this question, and once again, I'm not just talking about a conversation from a cold lead there. I'm talking about how many conversations are you starting a day, period. Whether you're reigniting a conversation with the previous lead, whether it's a cold lead, whether it's a warm lead, whether it's someone who is joining, for my instance, my Facebook group, and we're initiating conversation. How many conversations are you starting, and how many different places are those conversations generating from? All right, just think about this, really. I was super heavy on the cold, and I honestly don't mind doing cold outreach and doing it that way. But at the end of the day, you're limiting yourself, and you need to give yourself multiple options here to really take it and grow. So I want to step up just to touch on that too. I remember that the warm side as well. Like I said, how to carry a sales conversation. That conversation goes that much more progressive when you're actually having a warm lead discuss with you instead of a cold one. It doesn't feel, the whole Q&A thing, it doesn't come off that way nearly as much, because they're interested and they want to know what you're talking about. They want to know what you got, and then you take it from there. So, but once again, that happens more so when you have the brand built up, when you've been able to leverage some results, and even still, you don't need that. You just need to be able to, once again, build that brand. I think that's just a huge thing, and that comes with consistency. There's so many things for me, and what I preach, through your profile there, just taking that to the next level. And there's so many little things. I could have a whole topic on that, and maybe I will in the future. But in general, like I said, I wanted to touch on the warm part, and now really staying on script. I want to talk about too. We've pretty much talked a lot about how it's not not an interview, it's a conversation. First off, okay. So understand that we're having a conversation with these people. We're not mean mugging them. We're not grilling them. We want to just have a convo, and that's how you build that trust, because they're not someone who's just coming off as salesy. Like I said, we're detaching. They're not. Keep it in your mind. They're not buying. I don't think you're gonna buy from me. I just wanna have a conversation, and you're just one person out of many I'm gonna plan on having conversations with, even just today. So keep that in your mind there. I think it's gonna help you so much with kind of that clarity now, and just realizing that I'm not desperate for this person to buy. I'm gonna make it so, because once again, you're building authority when you do that. That's the thing too. When you're not coming off as desperate to buy, desperate to sell to them, desperate that you need that sale from them, you're building authority and you're showing that you're an expert. So that's when I can say, in the beginning, I wouldn't say that I struggled with that in the beginning, but I feel like I really just, I had been told that, and I just let it resonate with me. Because when you're very first, if you're really just starting off, you just get into this, it's gonna be very hard to fight that feeling. So I'm telling you, no matter whatever you can do to do that, it's gonna help you so much there. And so on top of that now, like I said, staying on script, rapport. I talked about a lot on the messenger side. Now I want to touch on the phone a little bit, just a little bit here. So on the phone side, building rapport, and in general, I say this all the time too. Rapport isn't just, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's nice outside. Oh, I just came from the gym. Oh, XYZ. Rapport is showing that you're someone who can help them, and you need to keep that going throughout the entire conversation. I really stress having the right mindset when you're going into these conversations too, because once again, you don't want to, even on Messenger, like it's all about the little things. I don't like to see someone where they think I'm typing for a long time. I want them to know that I'm sharp, I'm on it, I'm an authority that they can rely on. That builds the rapport. It's good to build the rapport in the beginning, maybe get yourself in the door, start off the conversation that way, especially on the phone. I make sure that's a big piece that I do there. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to go through that, start to finish. They got to realize that you're the person who can help them. You're the person who can set them up. And so I think really a big thing too is embracing your personality. Like, at the end of the day, all of us are different, and people that I'm going to be able to gel with, you're not going to be able to gel with as well. And people that you can gel with, I won't be able to gel with as well. And same with even accepting friend requests. That's kind of how this thing works too. If you're doing a cold outreach, there's certain people who are going to gel with my brand more, so they maybe will accept mine and not yours. But then on the opposite side, they will maybe accept you and not me, because they just, something about you resonates. I see it all the time too. If you're selling everyone, and if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to nobody. We got to dial it in here. That's why I say, don't be afraid to let your personality out. Don't be afraid to let your brand out. It's going to help you a lot more than it's going to hurt you. I promise you that much. So like I said, I love the whole sales and marketing side. I could talk about that's so much more too, but I'm gonna hit the pause on that there. Let's jump to the next one. Generating and converting leads. Like I've touched on this already today, but really at the end of the day, it's trust. It's trust. You have to build trust with these people. Like I said, when you're starting off, especially like a majority of us, even for myself still, I deal with a lot of cold leads, and our job, our goal is to switch them out of that cold bucket, and how we do that, if you ask me, how we do that is by starting as many conversations as we can. Because at the end of the day, let's be realistic. Out of 10 people, if all of them are cold, you got a low percentage of them that are going to turn hot on you. So at the end of the day, what do I think the best way to go around that is? Boost up those freaking numbers. It's if I can get 1 or 2 out of 10, I need to be talking to 20, 30, 40. And once again, maybe we can't do all this all in one day, but there are ways to make it happen. And I implore you to really look deep into your schedule, see what you can do. For me, myself, like I don't like, sending out messages at night because I won't be able to actually talk to them because I'll be going to sleep by the time they answer. Like I said, it's all about the little things there. When you have someone's attention, you want to be able to keep it. And at the end of the day, that's not make or break. There's a very good chance that even if, I've had plenty of people, obviously, I'm sure, hopefully we all have, where maybe you can't respond right away, but still, next day talk to them and just keep that conversation going once they do respond. Don't just keep on having a bunch of gaps. Because what I've talked about too, I did my case study on how I made, 8K in 14 days there. And a big part that I said there was timing. Think about it. I can't tell you how many sales I've gotten because I was talking to somebody at the right time. I can't stress that enough. Or really, I just know that I've lost sales from people who I spoke to, and then maybe this is where following up is big. I spoke to, and then I didn't speak to them again for a month. And guess what they did within that month? They bought from someone else. And now they don't have funds to buy from me, or maybe they just, they're too deep in it. Whatever the case is, timing plays a big part. I don't think a lot of people talk about that. I rarely hear people talk about that in this industry, but once again, you're always going to hear me speak from my perspective, my experience. That has been a big part as well. So once again, it's all these little things. If you think that timing alone is going to get you your sales, you're nuts. But at the end of the day, if you keep that and you keep consistent with consistency, I could ram on consistency and persistence all day, how important that is. But really, when it comes to, like I said, generating these leads, it's all about building that trust there. Build that trust. Hey, once again, I hope you guys are getting a lot here. I'm trying to wrap this up by 5. We'll see if I go over. But hit that hashtag live. Hit that hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. Smash the love button. Like I said, I got 4 strong topics here today. I'm going to hit you with one more after this one. So generating and converting leads. I can't stress enough how just the trust factor there. We really, and the trust comes through the branding. The trust comes through the conversation. You'll start to see that everything we're talking about here, it all connects. Without a doubt, it all connects. That rapport. We talked about rapport heavily. That's a big part of converting these leads. And once again, rapport isn't just talking, how's the sun going? It's about actually showing that you're someone that can help them, showing that you're an authority. And once again, the word authority, I don't mean, to me, it kind of sounds like even a harsh word. It's more so just showing that you're someone that can help at the end of the day. That's what builds authority, and be the alpha in the conversations. Don't let them roll over and kind of lead those conversations no matter where you're having them. Because if they are, then you're not going to get them to buy. So please keep that in your head there too. So now the last one, like I said here, unpacking a product, okay? So I think this is also, once again, it's all about these little things. They all truly add up. I can tell you right now, especially, if you don't know me, I love going on the phone. Messenger, it's very possible to close people on Messenger. People do it every day. I think that if you're going to do it on Messenger, it's much more effective if you have a warm lead. If you're doing call to actions, reeling them in, and then going that way. Because if you're trying to get a cold lead, once again, I think that you're going to lose their attention that much more. So I think there's 1,000% ways to get it done through Messenger. But let's just talk about on the phone and how it can relate to Messenger as well. So really, the biggest thing that you want to do when you're unpacking your product, they say, okay, what do you got? What is it like? How do you help me? What's the deal here? What do you have? Talk to me. I'm here now. I told you why I'm here now. Let's see what you got. So really, you don't, when at this point, you're going to, especially early on, you're going to want to just say everything. Like, oh man, you get X, you get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you know, it's like you need to really, that's why I preach too. Have a script. Have something so that you're just not rambling on. A script allows you to just control the conversation that much more. It allows you to not go so far out of the bounds here in these conversations. That's why I love a script. And whether or not, you know, for me, sure, I may not be reading my script every time because it's in here now. The more you do it, the more you're gonna know, like, this is the direction the call needs to head in. This is the direction that the conversation needs to head in. It doesn't matter the exact words that get there all the time. It's that we're heading towards the finish line. And sometimes when you're going too far off and you can feel it, you're never going to be able to get back in and get to that finish line there. So that's why. So now let's get back to just the unpacking part. Give them a little bit. Give them a little bit. Give them a strong bit, but a little bit. You know, like I said, don't go through the alphabet on them, because really, to be honest with you, when you're talking too much and you're giving too much, that's almost like as bad as not detaching from the yes. You're coming off as weak. You're coming off as, like, once again, desperate. Like it has all of this stuff, you know, all of this. It's at the end of the day, what do they want, right? What do they want, really? And that's another thing I want to implore you to do here, is actually listen when you're having your conversations. You know, I think that a big part of my success as well is that I'm listening to what people actually need. And when you have your pitch and you're unpacking your product, keep this in mind. Like, not even keep this in mind, keep this at the forefront of your mind, because at the end of the day, there's benefits and there's features, right? There's benefits and there's features. Features apply to everyone universally, but benefits apply to each person individually differently. You know, a benefit to me is a different benefit to the next guy, to the next girl, to the next person over there. So realistically, you need to keep this in mind when you're unpacking your product, when you're giving your offer. You start vague. You start with a small, the tight part. For me, I like to have a nice kind of core paragraph, or not. Maybe it's not even a paragraph. But that's just kind of how I see it. Just a core piece that we're unpacking that way, and then from there, we open up based off of what they need to know. Based on, and now you ask, how do we know what they need to know? For starters, they told you, but in general, you first off, you shut up and you listen. You shut up and you listen. And now we want to know exactly what's on their mind, because that's the problem too. 9 times out of 10, when you're saying all these things to really revamp and reamp up that this is for you, you're hurting yourself, because they don't need to hear all that. And then also, they don't care about half of that stuff. They don't even, maybe they don't know what they need, maybe they do know what they need, but at the end of the day, that's not the questions that they have for you. So let them know. That's a big thing I want to leave off on there is, what are they looking for? What are they looking for? Because once you figure this out by listening throughout the messenger conversation, throughout the phone conversation, now you'll be able to give them specifically the answers that they need to hear. You know, and of course, only do this if your product is actually going to help them. I suggest for anybody out there who has a bad product, you stop promoting it. Like, to be honest with you, you know, because at the end of the day, you want to promote something that you believe in. So unpack a product that's actually going to be beneficial to people. And when you find out that they are a great fit, you know, I honestly, and once again, I wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't always this way. But realistically, if someone's not a great fit, don't pitch to them. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. Maybe and at the end of the day, you've built a relationship. So maybe at a certain point, maybe you'll have another offer, or you'll have something else that will be a better fit for them. But I'm telling you right now, from my own experience, you know, back when I was first starting out, I sold someone a $2,500 product, and a day later he got a refund from me, because I think that honestly it was just buyer's remorse. But at the end of the day, he probably wasn't a good fit, and because I was just quote unquote maybe good at sales, I didn't threaten him. I didn't take his credit card. I didn't get his number. He paid. But at the end of the day, the guy clearly had something wrong with him, whatever the case was. So long story short, I know now from that case, and probably even more cases, that you don't want to pitch to people who do not actually are not going to benefit from your product. So that's what I want to kind of leave off there. Like I said, we got the 4 pieces there. I hope you guys got a lot here. Like I said, smash that love button if you got some value. Like I said, first off, really, sales conversations, unpacking your offer. So how to carry a sales conversation, staying on script, getting that rapport, generating leads and converting equals building trust, really. Okay. Then on top of that, unpacking your product. So, hey, as always, I hope you guys got a lot here. I got a call I got to jump on. The grind continues, but hey, love y'all. Appreciate you being here. Till next time. Hey, finish off with this. Man, you want to get some questions answered? I'm leaving comments, posts every week. Make sure you comment on there. I let them sit up for a day or two. So comment on there. Let me know what you're going through. I got you. I'm here to help. But hey, enjoy the rest of your day. Till next time. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Make sure you go ahead and like this if you got a ton of value from, which I hope you did. Subscribe to the channel and absolutely go ahead and join us in our original chapters community. Links right down there in the description. And as always, you are designed to become who you choose to be. I'll see you later.